What's up guys, this is Shannon. Today we're going to check out Ember again, but this time it's with a private intention in mind. Also today we will be covering the cluster semi-D type in Eco Ardence. Let's go! Today we are back here in Eco Ardence again, and for those who are not familiar, this is a location almost at the very end of NKVE highway. Once you come in heading over to Port Klang, we will drive through this very famous township called Setia Alam, Setia Eco Park and Eco Ardence. So if you look around a drone shot here, this location has been very famous for its landed typology homes, and it has always been the favorite for a lot of working adults. Once they want to start a family, this will be the location to be part of the consideration back then. Now we can kind of see similar concepts around KL Selangor region already. And for those who don't know, I actually made a video about my purchase of my so-called future home, which is part of this development called Ember, which is going to be their latest phase of landed homes within the entire master plan of Eco Ardence. And it consists of two elements. One is called the co-home, which is the one I purchased because how I wish I can purchase this cluster semi-D. That is averagely a price that I cannot afford yet. So today the intention is to somewhat look at what my neighbor's house is going to look like, because it's actually within the same taman. But now we are actually at the show village, not at the actual address. But here we can see one thing that is one of my favorite. This connecting bridge that allows residents to directly go into the highway has been completed and in operations. Usually you will need to go back to almost a Setia Alam Mall junction to make a U-turn back into NKVE. Now this shortens the entire pathway by a lot. That's great. Also demonstrates the maestro work of real estate presentation. So as you can see, these are the different types of units within the show village. And when you see this one, this one all very show you this one is not the real thing, right? But based off my experience of going through multiple series of their product types, it's pretty close to their actual product itself. But some caveat to the visit today: this is not the actual facade of the type, but the interior is, because they just reused the structural frame of the building. So let's go check it out. Coming in, this will be the frontage of the house all together, where you can park in easily 3 cars, or you want to overlay some more, you can have 6. Then going into the unit, then coming through the front door, we will have the foyer here immediately, right? And this door clearance is 1.1 meters, a very wide one. And this will be one of the most efficient position of staircase, which is sticking it to the side of the shed wall. So that gives you this very nice foyer space. There's 2.3 meters in length. Here then you can put a sideboard, or you can put your cabinet space here, or some put a prayers table here, entirely up to you. Then this will be the experience coming in already. And one very obvious thing about this layout type is you can almost directly see the end wall, so you've really experienced the full width on length of this product type. And for this unit type, today we're going to check out SD6A1. It's an intermediate lot, and the build up is 2344 square feet. So the size is 32 by 70. 32 is the width, the length is 70 feet. And when we look into the layout coming in from the carport, there'll be a foyer here before reaching the living space and the dining space. Then you'll have a little island here before reaching into the kitchen. Then there will be a ground floor bedroom. Then we have the ground floor bathroom as well as storeroom. So in terms of storage space, is rather big. Going upstairs, and as you can see, this is a cluster semi-D, means that it's a cluster if you just fold this upwards, right? So it will be 4 units where you have the walls attached to each other at the back. So technically you only have 2 sides of opening, where a normal semi-D format, this will be a bit front, and you have 3 sides that's open. So that's the main difference between typology. Going upwards, then this will be 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms all together, and this is where you can really feel the absolute length of the property, which is 32 feet all together. Then in terms of location, when we come in from Setia Alam Toh, we will take a left turn here, where this will be the Jaya Grocer. Tenby will be right here, and this is the new bridge actually. Then you will have a roundabout going into this side. We've checked out Nara before, Cora just handed over. Then this will be Ember, and the benefit of Ember here is that it's very close to Ardent Crest, which is a commercial area, so within walking distance also I can walk out or a beam or a bicycle. That's kind of why I like it lah. And going in, this roundabout is actually shared by 3 different projects, which is Nara, Ember and Cora. So Ember consists of 2 product types as we mentioned just now. Whole homes here, which one of them is mine, and then this will be my neighbors, the cluster semi-Ds. And if you look into the typology, it's that standard very efficient landed typology where you don't have any direct unit facing the junction. Then you have all the corner units at this fringe where the entire driving experience is going to be very nice and decorated. Here you have the cul-de-sacs for privacy purposes where only the residents of this row will be using this road. Then at the fringe, this will be all the landscape treatments where I'm pretty confident that it's all connected, right? And just when you have a very weird piece of triangle land here, the best way to maximize it will be to put in a free-form object, which is the clubhouse. And this will be the swimming pool, community center, gym, basketball court, and a general refuse somewhere around here, most likely. Then you have this little garden here that separates out the product type altogether to somewhat give it some privacy. So for this freehold of cluster semi-D, the intermediate is starting from 1.89 million, and for corner lots is actually 2.3 million because it's actually 2.5 stories. Just when we think, wow, very expensive, right? 2.3 million for corner lots, almost all are sold. I think left like 3 to 4 units only. And something very interesting after speaking to the team, apparently a lot of foreigners purchased the project. So we have Hong people from Singapore, people from Turkey. I seriously don't know how they actually found the place, but once they come in, they immediately buy it. And that reminded me of the regulations that we have in Malaysia, which is the minimum ceiling price of 2 million for foreigners to own. So that project actually allows foreigners to buy, and I guess my kid will have international neighbors. Then this entire open area, right? It's just very enjoyable, but not all types have similar feeling because this is type A. There's another type C where there's a ground floor bedroom here, so at the kitchen island area there will be a wall already, so that really gives a different impression altogether. So do take note when you pick the unit type, you pick the rows you are in, you pick the orientation, but most units are actually facing northeast and southwest, so there's no direct east and west. So be very mindful when you pick the units type, right? Because sometimes do you want a bigger kitchen at the back, but then you have a bedroom in the center, or you want this open layout type, but the kitchen is not as big. Entirely up to you. Anyway, the ceiling height is 3 meters. And here we can feel the benefit of a cluster semi-D lah. So semi-D, you will have the back that's opening as well, but for cluster homes, you will have these 2 facades open. Terrace house, only the front and back. So this is very, very comfortable. Imagine if you really do up the landscape treatments very nicely, right? The dining experience is going to be so amazingly good. Moving on, I like the layout. It's also very practical as he has a lot of storage spaces. You have one below the staircase, another one that is somewhat like a room space, and you can never get enough storage personally. But what's not acceptable when your unit is so big, you still don't have storage space. But this one they got lah, they got. Next to them, then this will be the bathroom space. And it's full height wall tiles, shower screen. Then you have the WC by Sorrento. You have the basin by Sorrento, and because this is located within the layout, then you have a mechanical ventilation system. That then connects to the ground floor bedroom, and culturally this is very important because most of us, well, I assume most of us who can afford will always want to live with our parents when they are older so we can take care of them. However, they will have mobility challenges, so in terms of moving around, like going up the stairs will be a challenge. Therefore, a ground floor bedroom is almost a must, especially when it comes to luxury segments of housing. And the window that you get is only here, okay? Because this is a cluster house in definition. Coming up to the kitchen then, besides the island, this will be your workstation or your kitchen top that is spanning around 5.2 meters in length. And the weirdest thing is that this is still considered small because it's arranged in a linear form where you walk across, right? So it's a very long format until you reach the back. And for families that prefers this format of dwelling, right, usually it's a very family-oriented lifestyle. A lot of cooking, a lot of gathering with family, hence they need a lot of space. So the length of wall to wall here is 2.6 meters, amazingly big. But here you can accommodate your basin, then your hood and hob here. But something weird is they actually include the washing machine here while you have a garden space outside. So yeah. So a few concerns to this kitchen. Too small, one, but not for me. It's already very big for me. Second thing, how to have a separation of wet and dry kitchen. Well, you can actually leverage on this to actually include a panel here to separate out the wet and dry kitchen. Then you guys have a sliding door there if you can. The other option is, looking at the layout, like you can actually add a sliding door here where you just partition this zone out. So it's going to be a nice wet kitchen here, then you have the island and the dry kitchen on this side. But if that's too small, I've checked with the team that this can actually be hacked, so you can actually remove this wall altogether. There's going to be one big room here, or you still want to retain a room here, entirely up to you. But you just imagine if that is removed and you extend out the boundary line, it's perfect. Wow. And while doing this shoot, there has been like 3 to 4 couples coming in to check out the unit, check out the ID. So some are existing residents that comes from Cora, earlier phases of the development. Some are potential buyers looking at a proper home to house the entire family. And these are the points that they look at instead of our usual approach. Rental yield, who's renting, what's the upside of capital appreciation, this kind of thing. Very different thinking altogether. Because here people start imagining, okay, if I were to dine here, my kid will sit here, or should we put a round table here, a side profile here that allows us to go out on a semi-open spatial quality. It's going to be so nice. Then in terms of privacy with the neighbor, is it too close? Like, do we curtain, do we cover all, cover half? All things like that. Amazing stuff when a house is actually a discussion of home, not from an investment approach lah. So nice lah. Anyway, going upstairs, this is a 1.1 meters width staircase going up, and you will have timber floorings, then you have steel and timber handrail. Nice. So coming upstairs straight away, this will be the condition of the show unit, right? This is adapted from the previous show unit type. Unfortunately, then you will need to adopt the structural format of the previous design type. So they will have claws like this. Anyway, coming straight up, this will be a potential family hall. Originally, this will be a brick wall, where going in, this will be your very first room. Again, we don't usually see a center room within a terrace house, right? Because first of all, the size is too small. But even if we have a super link that has massive width and length, it's very difficult to have a center room upstairs. But in a cluster, it's pretty easy because you have the side facade open. So that allows opportunities for windows and daylight. Very nice. So the size of the unit here is 3.2 by 3.2. And the ceiling height is 3.3. Wow! Then next to that, you will have the opening here. Nice. This bedroom user, along with this bedroom user, then will share this bathroom along with the guest. And this bathroom then is connected to the facade, so you will have a very nice window there. Full height wall tile, shower screen, basin and WC by Sorrento. Nice. And I like the shower area that is a little bit more squarish, so it's a bit wider than what I have at home. Next to that, then this will be the first bedroom at the back facade. So the wall width here is 3.18 by 3.18, very sufficient. After you put in a queen size bed, you still have space for bedside tables, and this bedroom has windows on both sides of the wall. Where you have one here, another one here. So cool. Then you will have laminated timber flooring all across second floor. Next to that, then this will be the junior suite, I would call it, because next to this bedroom, it comes with an ensuite bathroom. So you have a few kids, right? I think this one is for your favorite kid. Anyway, so the width of the room is 3.2 meters by 3.4 meters. Very sizable, just that because again, this is not a semi-D. That's why the number of sides of opening is very limited. You have 2 sides only, so you have this one leveraging on the side. So compared to the size of the room, a smaller window. So I don't know, would you prefer smaller window with the bathroom or the room without bathroom but bigger window? Next to that, then this will be the ensuite bathroom. Again, very similar treatments, full height wall tiles with shower screen, then Sorrento basin and WC. Just that because again this is limited in terms of access to ventilation, right? So the developer actually used up the top that puncture upwards, so you have a window at the top for the source of ventilation and daylighting. Very nice. Not only in this bathroom, they also apply it to the second floor rooftop, so that is very nice. And based on drawing, the unit is not supposed to look that big, right? Because this is going to be a solid wall, so they actually turn it into a glass, so it actually feels bigger. But besides that, right, the ceiling height of 3.3 is actually higher than the ground floor layout. So then they actually have strategic puncture through the roof to have more daylight, more ventilation space. On top of that, you will have the side profiles of facade. Nice, very nice. Last but not least, going in, this will be the principal bedroom, where from wall to wall, you will enjoy the entire 32 feet all together. And what you see here is only half of it lah. Again, because this unit is limited by the existing structure of the previous show unit layout. Just thinking about without the pillar, right, the space will immediately feel way more open without limits already. Also, they have a massive window here that looks out to your particular view that you want. Here you have the king size bed, then you will have the timber flooring steel. This will be a little reading corner or a workstation. And this wall here just splits the room into half, where here you can accommodate a walk-in wardrobe for your wife. Your little corner will be just here. Going inwards, this will be the principal bath. Personally, I'm a fan when the developer takes a very unique approach of separating the principal or the master spaces of the house different compared to the usual. So here you can feel the difference for the master bedroom or the master bathroom compared to the others. Ultimately, it's like a genuine treat for the person who is paying for the house. Imagine if I'm paying like 9,600 in terms of installment every month to be staying here, right? At least I can deserve something different, right? So here, this will be a bigger basin by Sorrento. Then you have the WC. I like the stone textured wall tiles, so it's full height all the way. That's nice. Then you will have a massive window here along with the shower area. Big, nice. Well, I guess that's all for the show unit. Compared to a link house, then this has its benefit because this feels like a corner lot, even though when you are in an intermediate unit, right? Because you have 2 sides of opening. But for the corner link house, then you will actually have 3 sides of opening, so it feels more like a semi-D. But compared to a semi-D, then the losing end will be an extra 5 feet at the back to your immediate neighbor at the back. So the previous phase called Cora was just recently handed over, and they have semi-Ds. So one of the owners just now that came was actually one of the owners of Cora. They then make comparison on which space is more sizable and things like that. And those were sold at 2 million 3 years ago. Then you minus rebate a little bit here and there. Now the selling price for those sub-sale ones is around 2.2 to 2.3 million. Apparently, the sub-sale market for semi-Ds around this location is hot. Wow, that's good news, I guess. I think it's also because of the point that we mentioned just now, where after the 2 million mark, right, it's open now, foreigners can also buy. Especially when you come to this location, the whole township is matured already. Where you have the 30th City Mall, you have the convention centers, you will have the shop offices right in front where we are supposed to go. Now it's raining. Well, we'll check that out later. But something beyond all those points, this side of address is actually coming up pretty rapidly. If you look into others developer building around Bukit Raja side, if you look at other developers building behind Setia Alam side again, right, you really see the movement of development going into this direction. Plus, not only residential, but you also see a lot of industrial moves as well. So for those who are not sure, Setia Alam also has a huge portion of industrial components, where just next door, right, you can see a lot of industrial areas. I guess this is where all their general managers and bosses live lah. Another interesting point to make then, a lot of people buy projects from a family standpoint, meaning like, oh, this one my sister buy here, we bought Cora, so we make reference to things. Oh, that one my friend buy, so we thought of staying in the same location because our kids are actually good friends, they go to the same school. And this is the sense of community that I really enjoy. I hope I will still have it when I move in here, probably don't know. But what I'm trying to say is the sense of community here is very, very strong, and that's great in every residential project. But that's the whole concept behind strata title. Well, again, everybody asked me the same question. Hey, compared to the neighboring projects, right? Those are individual titled ones. So these are all strata. Will it affect the capital appreciation or not? So far, not really leh. Well, while waiting for the rain to kind of stop a little bit, right, so let's grab lunch around the eatery areas. So this is the commercial zone that they kind of started back years ago, Ardence, the lab series, and they have this in most of their townships where it kind of promotes brand new restaurants or new outlets in trying to bring up a particular address. So again, this is like the initiative of the developer in trying to kickstart a particular location. That's why they are very good in place making, in starting a particular project all together from a nowhere piece of land. Boom! Finally, the sun is out again and I am right outside the gate of Ember. So, coming from the commercial side, this will be the main roundabout that hosts 3 different development altogether. So you have Nara, you have Ember, then you have Cora that just handed over. And throughout the journey, when you travel from the highway back home, right, supposedly my home lah, you can feel the immediate change in terms of infrastructure treatments, especially the landscapes, the street, the hardscapes next to the street, the lampposts, and etc. So that really demonstrates the entire placemaking philosophy that we discussed just now, and they have been very, very consistent throughout all projects across Malaysia. So that's very amazing, and it's very, very hard to do. But throughout the drone shots also, we can see the site that everything is in progress already, but just that next to the boundary of Eco Ardence, on the co-home side, then we can see some future developments that's undergoing land clearance right now. So I guess that will be the future development of another developer, and I'm pretty confident that the pricing that we pay for this landed strata, right, is going to be way higher than theirs. And that's something that we spoke about also on the previous episode, where the decisions made needs to be informed. I know that Ember's co-home is almost the price of a individual title terrace house in Setia Alam, and this 1.89 cluster semi-D is almost a similar product in Eco Park. Is only going to cost around 1.4 to 1.5. But what are we buying for? Again, we need to be very, very clear. And we are now right in Ardence Crest, which is the commercial shop offices, and this is at the boundary of the entire master plan as well. So right after that, right, you can straight away see the transition in infrastructure, in streetscapes, in all the things, right? Beyond that is all industrial zones really, and we can see the number of car parks provided for those zones. Wow. Okay, anyway, here you can see international school, and there are several within this Setia Alam location altogether. You have the Peninsula, you have the 10B, you have Ardence International School, and it's like a thing here. But this location has been a very long address, like Klang, right? And there are many primary schools, secondary school, Chinese independent school, and etc. within this location. Then right opposite the shop lot, in between Cora, right, this will be a lake, and there are actually equipments within. And this will be the walking experience if we choose to walk out to the kopitiam for lunch lah. So there's a pathway, street lamps that are designed, lots of trees, very colorful, and a nice enough barrier between the road user and the pedestrian. So these little things may not look a lot, but if you calculate the whole township, right, and you balance that against build up, these are actually money, all money. And now we are walking within the lake area. This is going to be a very pleasant walk, and apparently it's open to public. So there's a normal walkway in, everybody can use it, everybody can enjoy the walk here. But what I wanted to see will be the boundary treatment. So you can see here is a very themed treatment. You have their branding and their famous design of the colonial theme, and it's set across the entire development. And this will be the walking experience along the lake. Very nice. And the water lah, so the only comments, right, will be the water is being so murky. Not too sure whether the rain actually caused it. I think it's a retention pond, so it's not going to be clear unless it's very sunny for days. Then for the boundary walls as well, there will be CCTVs, and that's pretty standard. And this will be more pleasant if I come with a bicycle or a scooter. Okay, so this will be the place where, just in case whatever facilities within your own development is not enough, there's still a common shared one. I guess that's all. It's now time for Sean's Take 3 on 3. So the very first thing I like would be the location itself. So Setia Alam has been around, I think, for 10-20 years already, since Setia Eco Park time, and since then they have built a lot of other components. A location where it started from landed properties only, then the community starts growing, then you have schools, you have convention centers, you have malls, you have corporate office buildings. That's great. This area also has existing commercial areas, and it all really boomed right after NKVE was connected to this location. Plus, if you look into the drone shot, there's also a lot of mountain reserves around here, so there's actually a lot of hiking spots around. But besides all those usual points, this location apparently is still growing. If you look at the surrounding, now a lot of high rises are coming out within the location because there's not enough land anymore. Not like last time, everything landed, sure can sell one ma. No more such thing. So when the address starts to really mature, right, we will see more commercial buildings, we will see more office corporate buildings. So that will somewhat secure the location more of an investment option then, because all this while it has always been a residential location. But that's also a good thing, where after I meet a few buyers within the show unit, a lot of them are from Setia Alam. So like, oh, we have a few units within this address. So we are the earlier buyers. So my sister bought this one. Oh yeah, so we have been looking around very long already. We've been booking since the earlier days. We have been staying here since the very first phase. Apparently family and friends all like to stay together within this location. This is really where families are built, communities are built, because their children will share the same school, go to the same tuition center. Ultimately, everybody know everybody. Then straight away they will ask, hey, well, how old is your kid? Or you will need to really decide, right? When he is 5 years old, where would you want to stay? Because you need to decide where he is going to school, and that will set everything already. So then suddenly I got pressure. Another 3 more years only. Wow. Then the second thing I like would be the developer. So we have seen their designs all across Malaysia in different states. Penang, Johor, then Klang Valley, a few of them across different sites. I have always been a fan of their consistency in design treatments and execution. All of them look the same, and it's a very difficult thing to do. So when you purchase their new projects, right, it's not going to be so kanjiong. How is it going to look like, right? Especially within Eco Ardence, there are sufficient track records to look at the treatments of the common areas, such as the clubhouse, the facilities deck, the architectural treatments, the boundary lines, the softscape, the landscape treatments. Everything is all done before, so don't have to really think a lot. The certainty level, solid. Also part of that location thing, I guess this township has reached its maturity state that is sufficient for me to actually move in right now, because back then if you imagine like 10 years ago, right, there's still a lot of hiccups here and there. It's not going to be as convenient, right? But now, you want clinic got, medical center got, mall got, Hambalang, everything also got lor. And the last thing I like would be this very innovative combination between cluster and semi-D. So generally, it's a cluster home that looks like a semi-D. So we have bungalow, there's one building within one plot. Then you have semi-D, which is 2 units sharing the plot. Then we have cluster, that is 4 units sharing a plot. Then we have terrace, where you have rows and rows of houses within the same plot of land. This one then, you have the innovative approach where it's a cluster home that looks like a semi-D. So it gives people the impression of spaciousness, but in terms of cost, it's still within control. And they have been doing this for very, very long already. So within this unit type itself, I like that the kitchen is set to the back along with the 5 feet extra land behind, and there's a T-bone there where I can actually just partition it if I want to make it into a wet kitchen. But for some families that they came into the show unit earlier, they complained that it's a bit too small. So why not take the other type where it's fully extended all the way? But then they will have a room within a dry kitchen area instead. Well, anything up to you lah. But this setting of cluster is definitely more versatile compared to a link house because you have way more openings, 2 sides of it, and because the developer known that it's not enough compared to the earlier phase of Cora, which is semi-D, right? They also punctured up through the roof. That's great. And for the rest of the designs, it's very predictable, very expected from this developer. So when you go in, everything is like sorted out. Oh yeah, I also really like the extra storage spaces that they give because always not enough, right? Well, for the 3 things I don't like, number 1 will be the pricing, and that is compared to the surrounding neighborhoods. So for the co-home that I bought earlier, with that price, I could have easily just gone for a double-story terrace house, individual title within the older township. And if you're lucky, you add a little bit more, you can get corner unit. Then for this cluster semi-D, I could have gotten a semi-D individual title again with a price of 1.4 to 1.5 instead of 1.89 million. But after thinking about it again, do I have regrets on it? Not really, because I am informed on what I paid, which means that I am paying for all the infrastructure work, starting from the experience of arrival to the guard house, to the common areas, to the boundary lines, to the street lights, to the pavers, to the unit itself. It really depends on what you want as a homeowner, which is really close to the second thing. The second thing I don't like then will be this final phase of landed houses. So after this phase, right, there's no more landed products from this developer. So it's all going to be only high-rise moving forward. As you can see, the earlier phases of Huni, Hana, and I see a few more plots of land within the edges of the master plan. I guess those is going to be either corporate office towers or high-rise apartments, so it's either going to be both. So the density of this location is only going to go up. Then the last thing I don't like will be the immediate neighbor across Ember, but this is beyond the boundary of the township lah. We can see immediately there's a commercial area, then there's an empty plot of land. I don't know what is going to come out. I guess it's going to be landed properties as well, I hope. If it's going to be a high-rise, then it's going to be very, very weird, overlooking to the entire Ember development. So let's hope it's not. Then also beyond the shop offices, it's all going to be industrial zones already. So within this cluster, then you can feel the exclusiveness, the greeneries, the entire curated environment, right? But once you go out, right, then it's all a different story. Also part of the plan, since you are going to be designing Type A and Type C, right? Why not make a perfect unit type altogether that combines the benefits of Type A and Type C instead of leaving people the potential to renovate or whatsoever? I don't know what's their strategy though, because I think the perfect combination between Type A and Type C, it's in between. Whoa, that's fishes. I don't know what's going on, but that's so cool. Anyway, this is definitely a different experience altogether compared to the individual title lifestyle, because it's not as strict in terms of control of the environment. It's not going to be as dressed up, but all this actually comes with a cost, so it depends on which one you want. But a very cool observation today will be the property type that is above 2 million, all Sapu by non-Malaysians. So we are going to have foreign neighbors. And I'm also very, very delighted with the sense of community that I feel among the buyers. So for those who just now I met, right? Hi. And I guess that's all for today. So shout out to the team again for allowing me to have this private visit. They empty out the slot so I can shoot. If you really like this episode, like it, share it, and even subscribe for more information like this. Until next time, bye future home. I will see you soon. See you soon too. Ciao.